Next issue is on the 2611, the dossier in Pakistan. Mr. Chidambaram, this interview is happening at a time when there is a feeling that India has given away more than it should have with Pakistan at the Sharm el-Sheikh talks. Nevertheless, my question to you is about Pakistan again asking for clarifications. They've sent back a 36-page report. You vetted the previous report. You told us it was detailed. Essentially, they are saying what you've given us is not good enough to conduct a trial. It's going around in circles, Mr. Chidambaram. It's a never-ending process. They continue to ask for more. Are you prepared to give more?
Well, these
from what you've already given?
These four questions are minor questions. We can answer them quite easily, and I've instructed my people to prepare the answers. But the point is, this cannot be an endless exercise. This exercise has to come to an end. I'm sorry for the prosecutors of Pakistan if they think that the material given to them is not enough to, one, conclude the investigations on Pakistan soil and press ahead with the prosecution. It's a very sad commentary on the legal skills of the Pakistan prosecutor. The material given to the Pakistanis is good enough in any court of law to obtain a conviction against the accused. Of course, it would have to be supplemented by some investigation on Pakistan soil,
yes, absolutely,
which they claim to have done. And if they have done that investigation, together with the material that we have furnished, they should be able to nail the accused very quickly and bring them to justice. But I think this endless exercise is very tiresome. And I think this is the last time I perhaps will answer any questions from Pakistan.
It's the last time.
On this issue.
On this issue.
Yeah.
So will you send them replies to these four questions?
Yes. These are minor questions. We will send them replies.
But Mr. Chidambaram, when you look back at January, February, there was the process the Home Ministry initiated along with very tough diplomacy from Pakistan. And there's a feeling that when you're dealing terror from talks, that kind of a pressure that was there on Pakistan will not be there. Because eventually it was diplomacy and evidence and investigation all put together which seemed to be working with Pakistan.
That is a misinterpretation. The joint statement says action on terrorism should not be linked to the composite dialogue process.
Right.
Now that means that Pakistan should not delay or defer action on terrorism,
right,
in the hope that such delay or deferment will trigger the composite dialogue process. So what we have said is, you act on terrorism. That's nothing to do with the composite dialogue process. When, whether, and in what form we will start the dialogue can be discussed. But don't delay or defer your action on terrorism.
You say don't take the dialogue process for granted.
Don't assume that you can use your action on terrorism as a bargaining chip to bring India to the dialogue table.
That's a very important clarification, Mr. Chidambaram.
This is what the Prime Minister clarified today in Parliament.
I'm glad we are having an opportunity to talk even more detail about this, because there is a view we've changed our position, and hence when one spoke on this very show, we'd interviewed Pranab Mukherjee when he was External Affairs Minister in the last government, same government in fact, and he said, we believe there are elements in the state in Pakistan which support terror groups. Do we still keep that position, Mr. Chidambaram, especially in the backdrop of your recent statements where you say there is a threat to the western side, there is a threat from the Lashkar. Your ministry has sent out detailed advisories on the continued security situation, especially in the western part of the country. So do we still maintain that support from Pakistan remains?
Yeah, that remains our position.
From the state.
That remains our position. We believe that no non-state actor can launch a terror attack of that scale and magnitude on India without state support. There are elements in the Pakistan establishment which support terrorist groups, and it's for Pakistan to act against those elements.
Even today?
Yes.
So those threats that you were speaking about, you wouldn't, I'm sorry, I'm just pushing the point just to get a detailed answer from you, Mr. Chidambaram. When you said that, say, there were these talks about 7 locations being marked out in Mumbai, or there was a threat on Gujarat, Kutch, those areas, the advisories that you spoke about, you weren't suggesting at any time, it should not be understood that Mr. Chidambaram is talking about groups may exist in Pakistan but operate autonomously on their own without any knowledge of anyone in the Pakistani establishment. That's not.
No. I think you can't jump to conclusions. When we get an intelligence input, we share it, we analyze it, we assess it, and then we share it with the states concerned. Many inputs are analyzed and then rejected as perhaps not worthy of further action.
Yes.
But some inputs are shared. We
Yes.
shared one with the Andhra Pradesh government. We shared one with the Tamil Nadu government. Some time ago, we shared one with the governments on the western coast. And recently, we shared one with the governments of Gujarat, Maharashtra, and Goa, where we had some photographs and pictures. And perhaps there were targets. Now, at that time, we are not wasting time trying to find out where this terror threat emanates.
True.
It could be a non-state actor. It could be a non-state actor supported by a state agency. It could be a state agency itself. I don't waste time looking into that.
Absolutely.
We share the threat assessment and put the state on alert. That doesn't mean there's an imminent threat of attack.
No,
we are only alerting people that
Yes.
there is a likely threat. And sometimes these alerts work in our favor. People are better prepared, and therefore, maybe if someone had planned an attack, he has second thoughts. Or maybe this information or intelligence itself was not very credible. But we're not making those fine distinctions. When we think that there is a credible report, we share it with the state governments. That's the policy of the government,
Yes.
at least after I took over.
Yes, yes.
Then our people try to work backwards to see where this threat emanated from.
Yes.
Who is behind it. That's a longer and more complex process of analysis. Sometimes we can put our finger on the source of the threat, sometimes we cannot.
But you would admit the Lashkar, you would say the Lashkar still continues to
yes.
target our country.
LET is a big threat to India.
It's operating out of Pakistan
Yes.
with the knowledge of the Pakistani government.
That's something on which I would like the Pakistan government and the Pakistan establishment to prove the contrary.
You want them to come clean, Mr. Chidambaram.
I'm entitled to assume that when non-state actors plan such diabolic attacks in India, they do so with the tacit support of some state agency. The contrary must be proved.
Absolutely. And you are saying this, even in the backdrop of the Sharm el-Sheikh talks, you are saying that let Pakistan not assume that we have come to a conclusion that they are very proactively acting against all the terror groups on their country.
On the contrary, the Prime Minister has clarified that he has told the Pakistan government that sustained, effective and credible action needs to be taken, not only to bring the perpetrators of the Mumbai attack to justice,
Yes.
but also to shut down the operations of terrorist groups so as to prevent any future
And
attacks.
of course, these two
if he has
individuals-
conveyed this very strong message, we'll wait for them to act.
On two individuals. First, of course, Hafiz Saeed and the other Lakhvi. The Lashkar and the
Lakhvi is an accused,
Yes.
but the judge has to be appointed. The charges have to be pressed, trial has to start, and then there has to be a judgment and a conviction. They are nowhere near to beginning a trial. We are well into halfway of the Kasab